Because down deep inside, you engage in self-sabotaging activity just as you have your whole life. About 27 years ago, when I first started, about a year after the seminar, I was invited by the guys to New York City to help turn the franchise around. And when I got up to Buffalo, to where they were doing the seminar, I walked in and there was a big picture of Tony Robbins, kind of like on a big screen. And there was about 45 or 50 people in the audience. They were expecting Tony to show up. Didn't show up. If they had read as legend has it, if they read the contract carefully anyway, it was him in person or a reasonable facsimile. So the seminar was this, and there was a lot of pissed off people, right? We're going back. I meant to mention it last night and I forgot. I was probably excited because Mark, but we're going back. I'm Mr. Pena. We're going to go back to when we produced a lot of billion. I'm not Dan, and I'm certainly not Dan. I'm Mr. Pena. That's how you refer to me now. And the reason I did that back in the 90s, from 93 to about 2005-ish, is because familiarity breeds contempt. Now, you may understand intellectually what those words mean, right? But by the time this motherfucker's over, you're going to really understand. Because to me, you're just a fucking number. He's a black number. He's a female number. And I could put a bullet in your fucking head and not even lose 1 microsecond of sleep. Because I'm not in the position, I don't want to be liked. I want to be effective. And everybody in this room, some lesser, but some of you greater, want to be liked more than you want to be effective because you're a fucking pleaser, because your parents were cunt pleasers and your Now, I said last night, I believe, when I was standing up here, I looked at the teaser. I don't know why anybody comes to the seminar after. I just looked at it again to make sure I was not delusional. I say everything humanly possible for you not to come here. You're wasting your fucking money because most of you are going to fail. I listened to it, I stopped it, then I started it again, and but it's the truth. Down deep inside, even though you want to be liked rather than effective, there's a core of something in your DNA, in your string. Someplace, there's a core. Well, I'll give this one more. Now, Marcus is here for a completely different reason, but, you've tried everything known to man. We are the last bar in the last town, and the world is flat, and after us, it's the abyss. It's hell for some of you, and especially for a couple, 3 of you old geezers. But I flipped older. The oldest I've ever flipped is 77 years old. The youngest, 13, to the dark side. And that's what I do. I am the Darth Vader of financial information. And why do I do it now? I've lived here for 35 plus years. I haven't had to work in a long, long time, but I'm on a mission to make you guys wealthy. Now, what greater project in life is to make Nimrod morons rich? What greater? There is no. I underestimated the pig fucker. God love you. I mean, if I would have bet $1 trillion, that wouldn't have happened. I would have bet all the money on the fucking planet, all the Bitcoin. It's overwhelming to me. It's like making an Einstein out of a rock. You never can underestimate how wrong you can be. And I was wrong, and I take my hat off to the Belfast kid. If you want it bad enough, kids, you can do it. It's all in your emotional bank account. We're talking about a kid that we're going to spend some time discussing, and he's going to do a webinar for it. A kid that came to 2 seminars ago that I would have bet my net worth that this kid could make. They made fun of him. I wasn't the only one making fun of him. They made fun of him because he smelled like a pig fucker. He talked like a pig fucker. He was a goat farmer. To me, he's forever a pig. And in 26 days, we had a webinar with him. He told him he was going to crush it. He was leaving for a 2 o'clock appointment that day. That night, I got an email. He had done his 5-pound healthcare facility. 26 motherfucking days in the entire, not dissimilar to when they used to laugh at Josh Kemp when he came here at 17. Everybody laughed at him. Who's laughing now? Now, it's no accidents or coincidence that those two estates look alike. In 1983, when I set a goal, we're going to talk quite a bit later in the seminar about goals and affirmation. I set a goal that I wanted to have a castle on an island and be super rich and have governesses and nannies and a moat and tennis courts and all this shit for my kids, little monsters. They were little. In fact, only one of them was born then. And Andrew Carnegie has been my virtual mentor, my virtual hero since then. And on my last birthday, not my last birthday, penultimate birthday, a year ago, Sally took me for my birthday to Skibo Castle, a few days there. And that's the former estate of Andrew Carnegie. And I already knew this because I knew what it looked like. I almost bought Skibo Castle 18, 20 years ago. But in my mind, I wanted an estate like Mr. Carnegie. Well, and guess what? In 1985, I moved in. Now, for the 1 or 2 athletes in the room, you understand goals, you understand affirmations, you understand visualization. They've been doing visualization with athletics for 100 years, probably. Maybe it's only become vogue in recent years, maybe the last 10 or 20 years, with other things in athletics. But it is one of the linchpin, one of the benchmarks for this program. And Another linchpin or benchmark. Some of you, maybe most of you, believe in a higher power. And I'm not here to sell religion, but you believe in that. You've never seen it, have you? You've never seen a God or you've never seen it, right? You have faith. Well, if you don't have faith in this cocksucker, you're gonna fucking fail and you wasted your fucking money. You ought to go home now. And there's no refund. So you better believe in something, because you will fucking fail big time. And then you go to Reddit and say QLA doesn't work. And what you really ought to say is, I'm a cunt, a miserable cunt, and I ought to douche myself every morning because it didn't work, because I didn't work. The only time QLA doesn't work is if you sorry cunts don't work. You're gonna get beaten up by my poster child right now, Thomas from Canada, the day, second to last day, and he's gonna say, look in front of you, look behind you, look to the left and look to the right, and they're all gonna fail. He's giving you the benefit of the doubt that you're not. And he's my current poster. He's crushing it. Because unless you work, I stand corrected. I said before, there's nobody up there with a six-pack. I don't like to eat my words, but last night I asked Marcus, and he says, I don't have a six-pack like I used to, which implies that he maybe still has kind of a six-pack, which I've never seen the ridges in my stomach. I've always had some amount of fat over them. But other than Marcus, there's nobody up there with a six-pack. Running, lifting weights are procrastinations. If you run more than 30 or 40 minutes a day, it's a waste of time. If you lift weights more than 30 or 40 minutes 3 times a week, you're wasting your time. Or I'll put it another way. How's your fucking program worked out so far? Other than Marcus, nobody's program in this room has worked out so far, but you continue to do it, right? But unless you have some faith, this is never going to happen. Never. And when we were at Skibo, this estate is much nicer appointed than that. I'm sure if he was still alive, it wouldn't be like, I wouldn't be able to say that. And even though he was only about this tall, when you go through the estate, and we stayed in his daughter's suite, right next to his suite, and the doors are the regular size, but the door handles are here. And I didn't really notice it because almost all the doors were open. But then when I finally had to open a door, then I had to go because it was short. But that's been in my head the early 80s. When I grew up, they used to say, when you grow up, who do you want to be? Well, when I grew up, I wanted to be an alpha male like my dad, and I wanted to be Andrew Carnegie. But if you don't have faith, kids, you're gonna have a fucking tough time. You're just gonna leave that up through. I only have to leave it up 60 seconds, and then I've complied with the law. Truth is often best revealed when inhibitions about language are temporarily put aside. QLA therefore presents controversial issues punctuated with expressive, rough, and often distasteful words and remarks. All have a wide basis in literature and or contemporary usage. All are intended to stimulate an uninhibited interchange of ideas. But QLA unequivocally rejects hatred against any person or group, unless I mention them specifically. Nothing said, shown, or implied is intended to be threatening, insulting, or abusive, or to stir up hatred against any person or group. If you feel that robust discussions might incite you to violent actions or hatred against others, you should avoid our websites, seminars, and content. I will hurt everybody's feelings in this room. I will pick certain people out and hammer them because it is better for the class to know just how big a cunt you are. I take no prisoners because the world doesn't take any prisoners. There's only one gold medal guy in the Olympics. The Olympics just passed for each event. I take that back. There's 2 in the high jump because they split the gold medal, which was surprising to me, but I'm here to produce gold medal winners, whatever you do. Most of you got married for the wrong reason. Most of you had kids for the wrong reason. Most of you were born for the wrong reason. I will prove to you before the seminar is over, at least half of you are by accident. You should have rolled down your fat mama's leg, but instead one of those 400,000 or 500,000 little sperms hooked up and produced you. And God, aren't we lucky. I go through the seminar and say, what's the highest performance, and I ask you on the literature, what's the highest performance thing you've ever done? I ask you, what's the highest performance thing that your partner has ever done? I ask you, what's the highest performance thing your mother, father have ever done? Brother, sister have ever done? And when it's 0, 0, 0, 0, fuck all, you know why you're here. I said it last night, I'm gonna say it again. During the seminar lecture, blah, 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 no cell phones. If you have to use your cell phone, go outside and a break. No cell phones at dinner. One of the things that we differentiated back when we produced most of our billionaires, we took your cell phones away and we locked them up. We disconnected all the phones in the house, but they drank at breakfast, they drank at lunch, and it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And I didn't promote it, but there was a lot of bodily fluids, a lot of fucking going. I had a Bloody Mary up here back in the old, not here, but in this room. As I said last night, and I've said on YouTube several times, because we were set up this way, even during Corona, although a number of you didn't make the quarantine, etc. I went back and had time to study what worked and what didn't work. There's 3 or 4 seminars in the last 4 or 5 years that have produced 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One of which was Josh Kim, August of 2016, I guess. And we went back and looked at the menu. I mean, we looked at everything. What did I do different? Slime, and nothing. I mean, we didn't drug them, but produced a lot of fucking big hitters. And so there's nothing in common. The 4 or 5 seminars in the last 5 or 7 years that have produced a lot of people, produced a lot of wealth, that we can put a pin in to try to make it the same way that it was. But it was just an anomaly that the people came together. But they were all hungry. They were all hungry. And just as the young kid from Belfast, and Sally and I just got back from Belfast. We went on first time we've been we weren't really out of the UK. We took we sailed around Britain, Ireland, Wales, and the west coast of Britain, England, and Scotland. And we were in Belfast. I'm sorry to say things are still fucked up there, but the kid came from Belfast. We didn't go there because the kid looks like he's going to be a superstar. But he came and he told the class, I'm going to go out and do such and such, and I'm going to do it right away, and I'm going to crush you all. You will not be in the wake of my boat. That's exactly what he did. And there was a guy sitting right there where Mr. Glasgow is sitting right now, who said, when he did the live webinar and he got off and he says, I'll let you know, Mr. Pena, how I do on this appointment at 2 o'clock. And the kid that was sitting right there, he said, I said, why is your head down? Or something like that. And he said, I guess he just wanted it more than pretty fucking pathetic, as they say in true. This is easy peasy if you really want it. I use the analogy, for those of you that have kids, I'm sorry for you. For those of you that have grandkids, I'm double sorry for you. We're only operating on if you've seen scaffolding on a construction, okay? And I used to work construction during the summer school decades. And at the beginning of the summer, I could hardly get up the scaffolding because I was a weak cunt. And I was pretty strong. But climbing scaffolding is different than lifting weights. And we had an accident. It was about 3 floors up. A couple of the guys that had been working scaffolding for years and years were able to take care of the guys safe. But about that same time frame, somebody told me what I'm about to tell you. If we're 10 stories up and there's just a 2x12 between us and the next building, and I'm putting $1,000 bills, I'm not sure they make $1,000 bills, and there's some of you that could scurry across and get $1,000. I go up 100 stories, probably nobody in this room. Fuck, I don't need the money then, okay? Now, we put your wife first on the other side of the scaffolding. You're thinking subconsciously, well, fuck, I can always get another one. I could get hurt. And now we have a psychopath in the room, or at the side that's pouring gasoline on. So the next thing is a match, right? Not many of you are gonna go across for you. Maybe none, maybe more. Now you put your kid. A few of you are gonna try to scramble across. Some of you will fall off. There are some things worth dying for, aren't there? If you don't make QLA like that little shit bag that they're about to throw gasoline on, you're gonna fail. Not because of the other QLA bots that are out there competing against, because there's only a few. I've been told by the last seminar, some statistician, dipshit, probably will never do a deal, that he has calculated on the entire world, there's only 2,000 you trying to implement QLA proper. 2,000. I don't know if that number has any fucking validity whatsoever, but it scared the shit out of them. 2,000. I don't think there's 2,000. The operative word is proper, because how many times have you heard me say, follow the step? A gazillion? Why do I continue to say it? EJ, turn the ventilator on. One of the things that we're blessed, we happen to be only 3 buildings in all of Scotland that have the proper ventilation for the corona. And the contractor fucked me by putting it in because I didn't need it. An extra 45,000 pounds or some shit. And you can buy them on Amazon for 11,000 pounds. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So how many of you in this room would run or go across 10 stories up a 2x12 to save your kid or grand? We're gonna see. By tomorrow noon, I'll know who's gonna fail in this by tomorrow. In the old days, I used to tell you. I don't do that anymore, because occasionally I was only right about 90% of the time. And so 10% of the time it became a self-fulfilling prophecy that you failed because Dan said you. As opposed to, if somebody tells me, I'm gonna, fuck you, I'm gonna succeed. Those guys are dead many decades ago, because I have a pair. I have something that fills up my shorts. Most people that come to the seminar now, and most people that look at my website, have no nuts. And that's why you have vagina cream on your fucking desk. That vagina cream's not there by accident. We used to have a video that shows you how to use it. But I'm a kinder, gentler man now, and I don't do it. It's interesting. They don't use it like I thought they used it. But never having used it, or never having asked my wife or a female how to use it, I didn't really know. I just thought I knew. Just as many of you have an idea how you think QLA works, and most of you are wrong. Even though we have QLA for Dummies, we have all these things, all these YouTubes, you still fuck it up. Because down deep inside, you engage in self-sabotaging activity just as you have your whole life. Your whole life. I.e., 1, because you'd rather be liked than affected. 2, you want to know the why instead of the how. I never asked why in my entire life. Yeah, but how do I get up the scaffolding? By the end of the first summer that I worked construction, I could carry 2 80-pound buckets of cement, 2 in each hand, up the scaffolding without using my hands to grab the scaffolding. My hands had calluses, like I thought I had calluses before, but I didn't have calluses compared. My hands were bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. And at the end of every week, all my construction crew went out and spent all their money plus 10 or 20% getting drunk, fucked up whores. One of the things that I'm gonna show you later on in the week is up until I turned 60, I spent 120% of every penny I ever made in my life until I was 60. 120%. I spent every year more than I made because I never wanted a backup plan. I never wanted to have money in the bank. And I've been driving Rolls Royces since I'm 25 and a half years old. So those cars out there are no big fucking deal to me. But one of the biggest differentiations is you are who you hang around with. When we were on the sailing vessel here 10 days ago, and we're sitting out on the deck, and I'm drinking beer for my breakfast. And I said, honey, is this chilling? Yeah, I didn't have my phone. I have 3 cell phones. I don't use any of them. Don't even turn them on. Is this chilling? There was a 96-year-old woman on the boat. Looked very much like the Queen. Little teeny lady. She was talking about World War II and lost her first husband and blah, blah, blah. And there was a hill that we had to go from one of the sites, one of the Roman burials. And it was about 1.5 miles, kind of uphill, about 20 degrees up. There was one woman that was out about 100 meters ahead of me. And this little old 96-year-old lady was right next to her, walking. And when she got to the top of the fucking hill, I was panting more than 96. They don't make them like they used to. Ladies and gentlemen, once upon a time, you had a dream. You saw life as an exciting challenge, and you took a gutsy chance. You made a terrifying leap into the unknown and survived to experience the sweet taste of victory. I don't know when it was, but I do know you did it. Otherwise, you would not be sitting in this room. Perhaps it was a death-defying skateboard or bike trick. Maybe it was a climbing the tallest tree in the park or asking out your first date. I'll talk about my first date. Many of you will have at one time taken the frightening step of starting your own business, stacking all the chips on your table and betting everything you own on your ability to win. Whatever you did, you took what I call a quantum leap. You challenged the world and you were invincible. You fought, you dared, and you won. Then something happened. You allowed self-doubt to pierce your armor. You listened to the naysayers of this world and started to believe them. You started to question your ability. What if my success was just a fluke? Maybe I just was lucky. Supposing I can't repeat the stunt. You started to falter, to doubt. In short, you stopped playing to win and you began playing not to lose. I'm here to tell you that there is a very big difference between playing to win and playing not to lose. It's a difference between super success and lukewarm mediocrity, between winning the game of life and losing or barely surviving. This seminar has one purpose only: to rekindle and strengthen within you the searing flame of desire to make another quantum leap, then another and another, until you reach the stratospheric levels of success and leave all competition behind you in the dust. This seminar is about making you really and truly believe in yourself like you never have before, forcing you to recall a time when you acted as though you had no limits to your abilities, when you leapt the chasm and landed victorious on the other side. More importantly, this seminar is about daring, fighting, and winning. I want to tell you at the outset that there is no success without risk, no fighting without action, and no winning without sacrifice. If you are not willing to dare to take decisive action and sacrifice many aspects of a normal life, then this seminar is not for you. I'm here to say you can't have it all. I'm going to repeat that. I'm here to say you can't have it all. And any touchy-feely, silk-suited guru who tells you otherwise is just wrong and he hasn't done it himself. But if you are willing to listen and learn, if you're prepared to avoid the company of morons, ignore conventional wisdom, if you will join with me and look the world straight in the eye, dare it to stand in your way, and take powerful, decisive action, then each and every one of you can become much more successful than you are. This is not some happy, slappy, feel-good, rah-rah rally. I'm not here for you to like me. That's a fucking under. If you want a friend, buy a fucking dog. I'm here to tell you how to load your pockets with so much money ripped out of your business or the business yet to be formed that they will need a crane to haul you out of there. If I have to slap, kick, punch, and drag you over the finish line, then that's what I'll do. I'm going to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm going to call you names and sometimes act like a nasty drill sergeant. I'll be up here doing whatever it takes to make you realize one thing: you've been too comfortable. You've plumped your sorry ass down on a comfy chair a long time ago and have all but forgotten the warrior you once were. My task over the next week is to get you out of your armchair and turn you into a lean, mean, fighting machine ready to take on the world, ready to take on your own, make your own quantum leap, personally, in all aspects of your life, and ready to haul away cash in the tens of millions or more. I trust you will carefully listen to my message. And remember, you came here for me to challenge your limit, and I will. Not to like or love me. I strongly suggest you keep that in mind, or it will be an extremely tough week. It will be tough enough without any extra burden. Now, I cleaned up that you're all cunt, not because I give a shit about political correct, but we're going to talk about the demise of the world. And political correctness is nothing more than a euphemism that I'm not okay, and I want you to feel sorry. One last thing for you two. This is from, I have had rabbis, priests, nuns, shaman, whatever all the other religions had. This is from a Catholic priest who's been here 3 times. More than a seminar. Mr. Pena's seminar is more than a seminar. It is a very important fact to read about Daniel S. Pena for others, world's top leaders. His life, his work, to read his newsletters and to take success tests from his site. But to attend the seminar in the 15th century Guthrie Castle home is essential difference. It's not about cerebral motions, raising your sales 20% or more, or only think about your success. To gaze into your boyfriend's or girlfriend's eyes and understand, feel anything, or walking on glass pieces, although it could be all of them. But it's more, it's a rebirth. You will reevaluate, revalue yourself, your childhood, your adult, youth, adult time, current time, your family, your parents, kids, friends, all the areas of your life, and no doubt you will ask yourself some questions, and you also will see your future. The 7-day castle experience is unique. The castle, the estate, the plate, the drinks, the staff. You like to drink, Father, but anyway. Drinks, the staff, everything is exclusive. And the lessons, 10 hours a day, the whole presentation, the special individual time with Mr. Pena, one of the world-class business living legends. Thank you, Father George. To discuss your dream, vision, and future. There's no tire work with you. You are till inside your very soul. You will come back home another person, another you, prepared to say goodbye to you as you are now. Forever, like Saint Apostle Paul said, a new man stroke woman will born from the old you because of God and Mr. Pena. Okay, that's a little heavy for me, but so go to his extravaganza seminar at his fabulous castle, blah, 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 and high performance, and we will talk after Father George. He's the highest producing revenue priest in Romania. And you don't measure priests by how much revenue.